Hello everyone, I am Dr. Nisha Patel, SR in Cardiac Anesthesia Department, UN Mehta Institute of Cardiology and Research Center. Today I am going to talk about PA catheter technique and other techniques of cardiac output monitoring. I will not go into detail about each technique, but mainly I will going to discuss about PA catheter, like its indication, contraindication, complication, etc. Cardiac output monitoring has been done by invasive, non-invasive and minimal invasive technique. In invasive technique, first is fixed method, which includes oxygen consumed by the tissue per unit time is equal to the amount of the oxygen extracted per unit time from the circulation. So formula is cardiac output is equal to VO2 upon CaO2 minus CvO2, in which VO2 is oxygen extracted per unit time from circulation, CO2 is arterial oxygen saturation and CvO2 is mixed venous oxygen saturation. Another is indicator dilution method, in which first is dye dilution by using indocyanine green, second is lithium dilution by using lithium as an indicator, third is thermodilution, which is mainly used by PA catheter, in which intermittent and continuous thermodilution technique can be used, which is used modify Stewart-Hamilton equation. Another is RV ejection fraction method by cardiac output monitoring. Now there are some common errors by using pulmonary artery catheter thermodilution technique, in which underestimation, overestimation occurs. Underestimation occurs by using injected volume greater than the program volume if volume is colder than the measured temperature injected and large amount of fluid is administered simultaneously. Overestimation occurs if volume is less than the program volume and injected volume is warmer than the measured temperature. Another consideration are surgical manipulation of the heart, fluid administered along the aortic cardiopulmonary bypass cannula and arrhythmias. Now coming to non-invasive method, first is Doppler ultrasound by using transtracheal and another is transesophageal and suprasternal. Second is echocardiography, which is most commonly used nowadays. Minimal invasive technique includes pulse counter cardiac output monitoring, which uses the characteristic of arterial pulse that is transduced from the arterial catheter, like LIDCO, PICO and flow track technique. And another is thoracic electrical bioimpedance. Now coming to PA catheter, I will discuss mainly about introduction, types of catheter, indication, contraindication, insertion technique, interpretation of the physiological values and waveform, and complications. PA catheter is introduced by Swan and Gens and colleagues in 1970. Standard catheter is 7.5 French and length is 110 centimeter and balloon volume is 1.5 centimeter. As you can see in this figure, it has many ports. One is for balloon inflation, another is proximal infusion port, distal infusion port, one port is for pacing catheter insertion like pacing port, and one is for thermistor connector port. This is pulmonary artery catheter with introducer sheath and sleeve. Sheath is for insertion of the catheter, from which we can insert the catheter, and sheath is for prevention of infection. The introducer sheath also has one or two ports for injection of volume or any drug. Coming to types of PA catheter, one is catheter with pacing port, which can be used in patient with left bundle branch block, because RBBB is common while inserting the catheter. So in patient with LBBB, catheter with pacing port is generally used. Second is mixed venous oxygen saturation catheter. It uses special fiber optic filament which used by the principle of absorption and reflectance of the light through the blood. Third is ejection fraction catheter for measurement of the RV ejection fraction, and another is continuous cardiac output monitoring catheter, which also uses low power thermal filament that detects small temperature changes in the RV blood. Now there are some recommendations for perioperative use of the PAC. According to AHA 2007 guidelines, class 2B level of evidence B is PAC is reasonable in patients at risk of major hemodynamic disturbances that can be easily detected by PAC. However, decision must be based on three parameters. First is disease, second is surgical procedure, and third is practice setting like experience and interpretation of the PAC data. Class 3 level of evidence A suggests routine use of the PAC perioperatively is not recommended if patient is especially on low risk of hemodynamic disturbances. American Society of Anesthesiologists practice guideline for pulmonary artery catheter use also states that use of the PSC should be restricted in selected subgroup of patients who encounter hemodynamic disturbances that require immediate and precise decision about the fluid management and drug treatment, but routine use of PA catheterization in each and every patient is not recommended, and it is actually very harmful. Now coming to indications, there are diagnostic and therapeutic indications for using pulmonary artery catheter. In diagnostic indication, it includes differentiation among different type of shock, differentiation between mechanism of pulmonary edema, evaluation of pulmonary hypertension, diagnosis of pericardial tamponade, diagnosis of right and left intracardiac shunt, and unexplained dyspnea. Therapeutic indication includes management of the perioperative patient with unstable cardiac status, patient posted for CABG with poor LV function, means EF less than 40%, and left ventricular end diastolic pressure is more than 18 mm of Hg, left ventricular wall motion abnormalities, recent MI and or complicated MI, patient has significant left main artery disease stenosis, management of the patient undergoing high risk surgery involving major fluid shift and blood loss, guide to pharmacological therapy, patients with burn, renal failure, heart failure, sepsis and decompensated cirrhosis, and assess response to the pulmonary hypertension specific therapy. Contraindication includes absolute and relative contraindication. In absolute contraindication, it includes infection at the insertion site, patients with RV assist device, severe tricuspid and pulmonary stenosis, patient with right atrial and ventricular mass, TOF patients, and lack of consent. Relative contraindication includes patient with severe arrhythmias, mainly left bundle branch block, but in left bundle branch block patient, PA catheter with pacing pot can be used. Patient with coagulopathies and newly inserted pacemaker wires. Now coming to technique of insertion, first all aseptic precaution has to be taken, local infiltration should be done, patency of balloon will be checked by 1.5 ml air, all lumen patency should be checked with normal saline, cover the catheter with sterile sleeve which is provided in set, cannulate the IJV with Seldinger techniques, place the sheath, insert the catheter with the sheath. Once tip of the catheter passes through the introducer sheath, inflate the balloon when the catheter is at the level of the right ventricle. Then progress the catheter through the right atrium ventricle into the pulmonary artery, and wedge position can be monitored by change in the pressure trace. So ECG monitoring is must while inserting the catheter in patient. After acquiring wedge pressure, always deflate the balloon. This figure shows length of the catheter and along with that which waveform we will get on ECG. So by the at the level of 10 to 20 centimeter, the catheter is in RA, so we will get CVP waveform. Pressure is around 2 to 6 mm of Hg. At the insertion depth of 20 to 30 centimeter, the catheter is in RV, so we will see RV waveform on ECG monitoring. Systolic pressure will go up. Systolic pressure is around 20 to 30 and diastolic remains same, like 0 to 5 mm of Hg. At the insertion depth of 30 to 40 centimeter, the catheter is in pulmonary artery, so diastolic pressure will shoot up. Systolic will be around 20 to 30, but diastolic will around 5 to 15. We can see all down sloping off during diastole. And at the level of 40 to 50, means mostly around 50, the catheter is in wedge position. It is in pulmonary capillary position. So we will see pulmonary capillary waveform, and the pressure is around 4 to 12 mm of Hg. There are some important tips while inserting or removing the catheter. So first is, when advancing catheter, always inflate the tip so that catheter will not get stuck in wall or any wall. While withdrawing the catheter, always deflate the tip, otherwise it will damage the walls and other structures of the heart. Once in pulmonary artery, never inflate the balloon against resistance, otherwise it will lead to pulmonary artery rupture. Hemodynamic parameters which we will get by pulmonary artery catheter is, first is CVP when catheter is in RA. So CVP is equal to right ventricular end diastolic pressure if there is no obstruction between atrium and ventricle. Second is pulmonary artery pressure when tip is in the tip of the PSC when balloon deflated. It will reflect RV function, pulmonary vascular resistance, and LA filling pressure. Another is pulmonary capillary wedge pressure when tip of the PSC in pulmonary artery with balloon inflated. It will give us the pulmonary capillary wedge pressure, and that is equal to left atrial pressure and it will equal to left ventricular and diastolic pressure. Another parameter we can get is cardiac output by thermodilution technique. Another is mixed venous oxygen saturation, that is global estimation of the adequacy of the oxygen delivery of various tissue. So central venous pressure waveform which we can get by pulmonary artery catheter is ACX-VY. As we know, A is for atrial contraction, C is while early systole, it is during the isovolumic ventricular contraction when tricuspid motion towards the right atrium. V wave will get by systolic filling from the atrium. X descent is due to atrial relaxation, descent of the base and systolic collapse. Y descent is due to early ventricular filling and diastolic collapse. The pressure wave interpretation which we will get from pulmonary artery catheter is, there are some pathological waves which we will get, like Cannon A wave. It is in AV dissociation while patient is in complete heart block, ventricular tachycardia or AV nodal reentral tachycardia. Tall A wave is due to contraction of the atria against the closed mitral or tricuspid valve, as in tricuspid or mitral stenosis. No A wave is due to lack of the atrial kick, as in atrial fibrillation. We will get tall V wave in mitral or tricuspid insufficiency and patient with VSD. It is due to increased volume during ventricular systole. Loss of the Y descent occurs while equalization of diastolic pressure occurs, as in cardiac tamponade, and exaggerated Y descent will get by rapid diastolic filling in patient with constructive pericarditis. So these are the abnormal waves which we will get by the use of pulmonary artery catheter. These are some normal intracardiac pressures which we will get by using the pulmonary artery catheter. Pressure of right atrium which is 5, right ventricle 25/5, pulmonary artery systolic and diastolic pressures 23/9, mean pulmonary artery pressure is 15, pulmonary capillary wedge pressure around 10, left atrial pressure around 8, left ventricular and diastolic pressure, and left ventricular systolic pressure which is 130. These are the derived parameters which we will get by using the pulmonary artery catheter. It includes cardiac index, normal is 2.6 to 4.2 liter per minute per meter square. Another is stroke volume 50 to 110 ml per beat, stroke index which is 30 to 65 ml per beat per meter square. Left ventricular stroke work index, normal is 45 to 60 gram meter per meter square. Right ventricular stroke work index is 5 to 10 gram meters per meter square. Systemic vascular resistance, it is normal is 900 to 1400 dynes second per centimeter square, centimeter minus 5. Systemic vascular resistance index 1500 to 2400 dynes second centimeter minus 5 upon meter square. Pulmonary vascular resistance normal is 150 to 250 dynes second in centimeter minus 5. Pulmonary vascular resistance index is 250 to 400 dynes second centimeter minus 5 per meter square. So these are derived parameters according to which we can change SVR, PVR, everything. Now coming to complication, there are some general complication. Immediate complication includes bleeding while inserting the catheter, arterial puncture, air embolism, thoracic duct injury if we are inserting catheter to the left side, pneumothorax and hemothorax, and delay complication includes infection and chances of thrombosis. While inserting the PA catheter, one must encounter around the arrhythmias. Most common is ventricular arrhythmias, RVBB is most common. Misplacement of the catheter, noting of catheter, myocardial or valve or any vessel injury, and complete heart block if patient has already LVBB. In that condition, catheter with pacing port is useful. And coming to the maintenance of the PAC catheter, which in delayed complication includes pulmonary infarction, thromboembolism and infection. So by conclusion, PA catheter provides a wealth of information about right and left sided circulation. However, clinicians are more selective about which patients require PA catheters because use of the PA monitoring has not been demonstrated to incontrovertibly improve outcome of the cardiac surgery. The widespread use of the TEE make intraoperative PA catheter less important except for mixed venous oxygen saturation, especially in high risk patients. Thank you.